All right, so welcome and good evening to another exciting episode of the Men's Lounge. I'm sure you'll be wondering where I've been. Well, I've been around. I'm tackling a few issues here and there. And so I just want to start by saying a very big thank you to Kwabena Amponsa. I call him Kwabena Amponsa. You call him Foster Romanus. His other name that you don't know is Kwabena, so I call him Kwabena Amponsa. A big thank you to Foster for sitting in for me last week. Of course, that is why we are brothers, and that is why we belong to the GMABC group. Today we'll be discussing a very important issue. I mean, over the past few days, I'm sure you have heard about a pastor killing the wife in the US and all those issues. Look, I think sometimes it's just right and fair that we dissociate the personality from who they are, in terms of dissociating the fact that he's a pastor from him being the person. You and I we are all fallible. It doesn't matter if I'm a pastor or not. We just need to tackle the issues. But the most important thing here is to look at an abusive partner. Why do they act? Who is an abusive partner? We'll be talking about these, and especially this time, we are going to hit very hard on the men. We've been talking about the women for too long. Today, we're going to talk about the men. Why a man should be abusive, or should a man be abusive, or who is an abusive partner? These are the things we'll be talking about. I want to start also again by saying a very big thank you to Kasapreko Lobo Bitters for bringing us this show. Also to Promasido Yamvita. You know, the stuff they give to the kids between 1 and 6 months old. It's very good. It helps them grow healthy. And it's quite nutritious. Sometimes I feel like, Charlie, my people don't help me. Because back in the days, I probably should have been taking some Yamvita because it would have given me some big buy and all that. Anyway, so like I always say, time check. Whenever it's 9 p.m., you know it's time for the Men's Lounge. Now, another exciting thing that I'll be bringing your way is GMABC, particularly Happy FM, have a new show. Well, they've been running this for practically about 8 months, and that's the Happy Morning Show. Over time, it's grown, and it's becoming something else. It looks as if people listen and they be like, and so they've been able to find a way to want to bring it live to you on your sets. And so we'll be discussing, we'll be talking about the Happy Morning Show, at least for the very first part of the segment, before we even come to start the discussion on the abusive men and their partners. So I'm going to just go straight to the point. We won't waste time today. I'm going to introduce to you the host and the co-host. Fine gentlemen. It looks as if they are married. It's okay. But still, you and I we can discuss. We'll find a way around them. So I have Samuel Ishan, who happens to be the host of the Happy Morning Show. And then his co-host, my own man. I mean, we were mates back in school in Addis Ababa. He's a very bad boy. It's interesting how he looks so innocent and people think he's... But it's okay. It's okay. I mean, I was a chapel. I won't lie. Anyway, and so I'll introduce to you Raymond Nyamado, who also happens to be the co-host of the Happy Morning Show. Guys, Akwaba. Good to see you guys.
Good to see you too.
Raymond, now we know the Chiao, we did do punches.
Go take out like that.
This whole COVID is making all of us boxers.
I'm telling you.
See, you meet people and they look like ninja. You can't even identify them.
Yeah.
Now you have to agree to, you have to box.
Yeah, box.
Let me try it.
Not too hard. No. You know, when you're dealing with an Apsu, you should be a little bit, gentle.
Oh, Apsu and this could.
Oh, yeah, but the levels,
Which level?
Charlie, it's okay. Walk out. Raymond, let's have this. Let's start this guy.
I'm here. I'm here for you.
No, but you can't start like Nanka you triple and Nanka you. Apsu and you're trying to. Okay, Apsu and Santa, we are always friends. The only difference is that they did by the sea, so them brain.
We really get fresh air.
No, them brain no really.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, guys. It's good to meet you. I mean, I'm one of the guys that listen to you a lot.
Wow.
And over the 8 months, I think you guys have had some really good impact in the social systems and some of the things you discuss. And when I heard that you were going to, about Mania Science, metamorpho, whatever, bring it to TV so that people can also see. I mean, I got very excited and I thought, wow, that's a very giant step. And I've been wondering, I can talk about it, but from where I sit, I won't be able to. And so I'm glad you are here. And so I'm going to start by asking you, what exactly is this Happy Morning Show? What is it?
Well, Sam, since you do a lot of talking on the show.
All right, so I will take the opportunity first and foremost to thank you for hosting us this evening.
Oh, I'm glad you're here.
Yes, and to thank numerous listeners out there who have been following us for the past 8-9 months since we started the Happy Morning Show. It's been an exciting journey when we started in January, and I'm happy you made the point about the fact that the listenership has grown over the period.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of the feat, as a team corporately we've been able to achieve. Let me also extend gratitude to the crew who make it happen, because it's just the three of us that you'd always hear speaking on radio, but it takes production to make what people listen to happen. And so I'll thank the team as well and the management of GMABC for making the Happy Morning Show what it is today. So the brand stands for happiness. The fact that you can listen to morning radio and you're driving and there's a smile on your face. Because in the mornings we take it upon ourselves to put a smile on your face, to inspire you, to motivate you. And then equally we give you the right information. We educate and we inform as well. And we don't just speak to anybody. We speak to competent resource persons. And our views expressed on the show are dispassionate.
Yeah, true.
So
True.
no partisan conversation.
No bias conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anybody who listens to the Happy Morning Show is getting everything well blended together. The beauty of it is, even as we speak in English now, it's a Tree and English program. So for those who may want to listen to the Tree language, they have the opportunity to listen to your conversation. That's a blend of the two. So then it appeals to the white collar people, the elites who would want to hear some bit of intellectual conversation. It happens there.
Yeah.
For the masses who would want to hear, the conversation broken down, they also get their fair share. And so that's the Happy Morning Show in summary for you.
Okay. Raymond, I'm aware there's a third person.
Yeah.
Obviously a female.
The Queen.
The Queen.
Yes.
I find this very discriminatory. It said, Mwaba, and you didn't come along with it. What happened?
Well,
Small alone with the girl would bring
we're coming to the men's lounge.
And so
we didn't want any distraction.
I don't want to break up
We don't want to. You see,
I agree with
I
you.
like the men's lounge because you see,
agree
when
with
you
you.
come to the men's lounge,
I agree with you.
there are a lot of things I don't see on this sports live here.
Okay, let's not even go there at all. So tell me, I'm very much aware that this has been in place for, way since January, right?
Yeah.
And now we are in September. It's the journey has been worth over 8 months.
Yeah.
What has it been like? I have seen when it started, after 3 months, if you're somebody who knows programming really well, you know that after your 3rd month, especially after your 6th month, is your make or break. So if it's not working, guy, just stop it. But when it's working, then you know that, Charlie, there's some opportunity in there. And I think you guys have crossed it, and you've crossed it well. What has the journey been like?
Well, I think the difficult part was the early stages when, we had to get to know each other on the show. We had to kind of like dovetail perfectly on the show. And that was the difficult part. But I think that we handled that pretty well.
Yeah.
We complemented each other very well on the show, and it was seamless right from the start. I would say the only difficult part of the show was the waking up at dawn to appear in the studio.
Say it louder. Let it waking up at dawn.
The waking up at dawn.
That one.
The 3 a.m. waking up, get ready.
When you could have been doing something else, right?
Oh, well, probably sleeping. That's the only hard part of the whole show. But I think that in the last 8 months, it's been smooth.
It's been quite a journey, yeah?
Yeah, it's been quite a journey. We've had to adapt pretty well to a lot of things that have been happening. Even on the show, there are times that there are things we don't even plan, but we find a way to, deal with the issues. And I think that we've been able to, do a great job with the support of our team.
Well,
we have a very fantastic production team, giving us a lot of support. And so it's been perfect over the last eight months. I would say it's been near perfect for us.
It's been near perfect. For me, I just believe you are getting there. Obviously, with a team like Samuel, you, and then Fatih the Parrot. Hey, please, so I didn't say it.
Interestingly, Fatih doesn't talk on the show. She doesn't talk much.
Oh, she doesn't talk much.
Yeah, Sammy talks a lot. Sammy talks a lot.
It's your classmate.
He talks a lot.
Any listener of the Happy Morning
I don't think
Show.
I should follow these guys. so I've been asking myself that. Well, I think it makes perfect good sense to want to put out what you do on radio to TV. The syndication. It makes sense. But from your perspective, why have you thought of that syndication?
All right, so, I'll take you back to the point you made about, the journey 8 months or 9 months on. We started a show that nobody knew about. We had done a lot of publicity to put ourselves out there. And Raymond, if Raymond would bear me out, when we started and we were having our Facebook Live, you could find, whilst the show is ongoing, around, let's say, 15, 10,
13,
15.
yeah.
And that's our second month. And, you know, for a station that has been branded a sports station, and we have started something new, brand new, we're having maybe 10, 15 people watching us in the mornings. But today, 8 months on, you watch the Happy Morning Show, and there are over 150 people who are watching you live. 8 months. And, you know, it tells you people enjoy what we do. Now, I'll tell you a story. So one time, you know, you're talking about Yamvita. I enjoy Yamvita a lot, if you ask Fatih.
At your age?
Yes, at my age. There's a reason. I'll tell you later on. So one time, you know, we had a competition, and somebody won, and the person walked into the studios of Happy FM to come and collect the prize. So the person comes and says, I want to see some Asian. So I go, and then the person says, there's a reason I want to meet you. So one time I was just flipping my dial, and then I got to Happy FM. And this was in March. And I listened to the conversation, and the person tells me the station that the person used to listen to, it's a station that is branded in the #1, virtually, in Accra, in terms of the English-speaking, you know, stations. Since March, the person has not tuned into that station again. I've had people who would tell me, sometimes you see a shamu, and so we want to reach a wider audience because we are limited by, you know, our bandwidth. And so now we want to reach a wider audience where when we're having a show on television, you are in Takoradi, you can watch us, you can monitor the conversation anywhere in the world. Matter. So it affords us the opportunity to reach our audience who are cut out of the conversation as a result of the limitations of the travel of our frequency. And so it affords us more opportunity to reach our listeners. Equally, does it bring aboard more advertisers as well? People who would be having the opportunity to watch us and equally take advantage to promote their businesses.
Exactly, that's one of the things I was going to ask you, because I see this as a much bigger opportunity, especially when you are gaining or adding eyeballs to this whole thing. But Raymond, Charlie, take your time with Alumu. He's just finishing the thing for us. But when you come to the lounge,
when I come to the lounge, I have to drink.
Drink it. Let me know you are here.
Sammy, I hope you are taking lessons from this one.
No, Sammy is
tomorrow morning you have to replicate this one.
You know, something happened before the show started. The two, that one is correct. But this one is not correct.
It's okay. It's okay. But before, so I'm very soon going to take you to a promo. And then when we're back, I'll get back to Raymond. Please watch this.
Medin di Raymond Nyamado, Shiami, our Happy Morning Show no so every weekday at 6:45 a.m. Na memfa agudie mu nsem nyina embremo ewo sa adwumedie no so. De ekoso ewo Ghana ene de ekoso ewo amansan nyina no. Medin na bebremo ewo Happy Morning Show no so.
Dan na ekoso ewo social media. Eya say Facebook aya dana, and now see a to Twitter. Now Instagram swear, who is going live? Who or what is trending? Your friend Fatih Shaiwali, Shiami, Ejuada Kosi Efia Debia, our eTVGhana, so our Happy Morning Show. May all the trending issues from across the world ever grow.
eTVGhana, your world of quality entertainment.
Medin di Raymond Nyamado.
Hello, your friend is Samuel Ishen, host of Happy Morning Show. A morning experience or eTVGhana eba be krabeshokra. Many Fatih Shaiwali, Raymond Nyamado, and the entire crew. Yet they are incisive discussions about current affairs, sports, trending issues, any other social issues ebro or eTVGhana. And it's opposite with TV is our friend Nigeria and one eTVGhana. It's 5:30, a couple 9 a.m. more video and that eTVGhana. eTVGhana, your world of quality entertainment.
eTVGhana, your world of quality entertainment.
I saw that beautiful promo. You saw the Queen Fatih, you saw Raymond, and then you saw Samuel. Raymond.
Yeah.
You know, I find something very interesting. So Raymond Nyamado, you and I know that he's supposed to be either an Ewe or a Ghana. I mean, there's a mix somewhere. However, the guy spoke Tree. I found it very interesting. Raymond, can you repeat the first line? Why is he going to be speaking? Is he going to be speaking Tree on the when you guys? Because I've been wondering.
Yes,
if there's
it's going to be the
changes.
same format.
Oh, there won't be any changes.
Nothing's going to change.
Oh, really? So the same format on radio.
There won't be any change for me.
But there could be changes for him. Anyway, guys, I'm very happy to have you. I just want you to know that you have a lot of support, really. I mean, from people like me, I listen, I pick up. It's been difficult lately to want to even sit and watch TV. And so, especially in the mornings, it's one of the places where I get all my information within the first hour or two before my day even starts. And so, just to assure you that even if no one is watching, I am. And me better now, so they are removing me and you. I'll go finish you for here. Guys, I'm going to go on my very first break. But before I go, I want you to say a few words to those who will be listening and watching at the same. Remember, you are going to also be on a lot of social media platforms, which gains you a lot of eyeballs as well. Yeah. And so your last words to them, so we can shift.
All right, so I will start by telling our listeners that, and our viewers on Monday, God willing, that something is being cooked for them. It's something which they're going to enjoy. It's something which they have not seen yet. And yeah, kasane nyina menim say one baby so mo na nkofo mo na one body happy morning show so abofo nkwa na mabetina no mo eka na yes our tree is impeccable. It's fluent tree. And well so far I in 8 months who said Remo has a term Rudurada.
He must have used about 3 months to learn how to pronounce that. I'll tell you a story. So, hey, I say women can. Okay, I'll say it. Those in Takrady, forgive me, but I just have to say it. So, when the GMABC group was launching Takrady, the YFM in Takrady, apparently a few people had, been listening to YFM in Accra. And so when we went there, hey, what's it Accra from one YFM now about? Hey, Takrady be a deal. You know how they speak.
Yeah, very dope.
Then one guy silently approached me. The guy was calm. I thought he was going to ask me for directions. Brian Pocho, and you want to Juma? Oh yeah, I mean we all work together and everything. And was the one green radio and was Ribaha for YFM? Say, oh no, yes, I mean yeah. So we are having a very huge lunch at the Jubilee Park and everything. And was the one I brought from the Ribaha. And that was when I gave up. Apparently everybody thought the presenters in the YFM studios were Abrofo. Oh yeah.
Wow.
And so it's not you alone. Wow. It's been there for long. Guys, thank you so much for coming. Raymond. Yeah. Your last words. Speak tree. Oh. Tree. Your last words in tree.
You see, the tree is a performance tree. It appears when I'm on the show.
Not
so if
yet.
you want me to speak to you here,
I have to pay you.
we may not end this discussion.
I beg walk out. Guys, thank you very much for being part of this very first segment. I'm going to go on this break. Please stay tuned with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we are still in the men's lounge. When I started, I did mention that we're going to be discussing abusive men, abusive partners in their relationship. But we want to focus on the men. We've always spoken about things that almost hits the women so hard, but today we are talking about the men. Look, we should speak about ourselves too. We have a lot of flaws that we need to tackle. And so we'll be talking abusive men. Why abusive men act the way they do. And with me in the studio to do the discussion, I have Dr. John Sedofia. Dr. John Sedofia is a licensed counseling psychologist and a member Ghana Psychological Association. Doc, Akwagwa, should I call you Doc or John or Sedofia?
I'm fine with John.
John
Just
is fine.
call me John, yeah.
Hey, John, you want your president do that?
Have you know that?
Anyway, good to see you. And welcome to the lounge.
Thank you.
So there's been this issue, I mean, this past week or two that has to do with this I'm trying so hard not to say pastor, this man who has shot the wife. I'd like to look at it from that angle and not to add pastor. I say that because I believe irrespective of where you find yourself, whether profession, wherever, your flesh makes you how we see you as a man. And so I like to look at it from that point. Yeah. And so I'm sure you've been following the story about some man who has shot the wife, and there's been issue stories. Well, we keep hearing different stories until the day we'll hear a final story. And it then begs a question on our minds that so abusive men, I mean, I find that abusive. And so why? In the first place, let's try to define who an abusive man is. Look, who is an abusive man?
Thank you, Nana. When we talk about an abusive man, we cannot place one definition that fits everybody on that term. But then we can identify who an abusive man is if we are able to talk about some traits or some characteristics that all abusive men share. One of them is the fact that all abusive men try to control their partners.
You don't think it's the ego? You know, men, all of us have some kind of
Don't
ego.
worry, all those things will come in. Yeah.
So let me ask. So then, it then tells me that you can't put all into one blanket.
Thank you
But
very
you
much.
can some way somehow identify
Exactly.
who an abusive man
Exactly.
is. So then, Doc, what causes a man to be abusive, and most especially to the women they claim they love?
That's the big issue. And to answer, before I answer that, let me say my heart goes out to the family of the lady. And then to now come to the question. A number of things cause people to be abusive.
Okay.
First and foremost, we call something temperament. Temperament simply means who you are, how you act, how you behave. And there are different temperament types, but I would not try to go into those ones. But we have some common ones, some 4 common temperament types, namely the melancholic, the phlegmatic, the choleric, the sanguine. The sanguine and then the phlegmatic people, we usually don't have big issues with them. They are the cool types. The melancholic and then the choleric, they are the ones that we have the problems with, particularly the choleric. The choleric are by nature aggressive, and they can be problematic. The melancholic, for example, they are very quiet, unassuming, but before you say Jack, they get into action.
They land you a slap.
I tell you. They are the ones who will not tell you that I'm going to slap you. So before you know, they act.
I kind of have a feeling those people are a lot left-handed.
Well,
Forgive me.
I wouldn't.
I didn't. Somebody told me.
Thank
this
God
one.
I am not left-handed, so I wouldn't know.
Well, okay, that's just by the way.
You see, so temperament can be part. Culture can play a very huge role, particularly in a part of the world where we say a lot of things about men, who a real man should be. Things like memensu.
That one is not
Things
true.
like you a man doing that. You see, so the moment boys begin to hear those things, the moment men begin to hear those things, they would like to show that they are really men.
Yeah.
But another thing that can cause a man to be very, very abusive is masculinity. They want to prove that they are the people who have the masculine features of a human being. They want to prove that they are strong. They want to prove that they are not people that you can toy around with. So, to tell people that they are men, they try to be abusive. But my fellow men, real men don't beat
abuse.
up. Thank
I
you.
see you are trying to stay away from the word abuse.
Well,
Are you being advised to use it advisedly?
not really. We can use it when we want to use it.
Well,
Yes.
anyway, so men, for those who are quite abusive, for those we identify,
Yeah.
you know what I wonder? I kind of wonder what's on their mind or what's in their minds. Is it that they suffer from some mental disorder? Could there be some particular reason other than just the feeling of masculinity, culture? Could there be some disorder somewhere that causes some men to be
To be
abusive?
abusive. Thank you. That's a very good question and a very interesting one for me. Interesting because research on that question is very, very divided. In fact, research is unconclusive. Some people believe that there is a link between the mental state of a person and the abuse they engage in. Some other researchers, like the Harvard Medical School, they conducted a research that found that there is absolutely no link between mental illness and then violence or abuse for that matter. So they say that the general thinking that people who are abusive, men who are abusive, may have had some mental difficulties is not true, according to the Harvard Medical School. So my simple answer is that we cannot put a finger to it and say that every man who abuses another person is necessarily suffering from any mental
disorder,
illness. It could be a problem. I mean, it could be a cause, but it could actually be that there is no mental issue. Yes.
Wow. I guess we all of us cannot wait for a very conclusive, research on some of these things. So
that's the beauty of research. That is why we conduct research to try to understand.
Researching. Because this is a very serious issue.
For as long as human beings exist on Earth, research would have to continue.
Well, so men could get abusive. Now, in fact, some men are abusive. What we don't know is there's a link anyway, mentally, and there's reasons of culture and all that. Yeah. But the question, do they know that they are abusive? An abusive person, does the person know that I'm abusive?
Good. The answer is yes and no. Some of them know that they are abusive. And for those that know they are abusive, they are usually defensive. They usually try to blame the ones they are abusing for being, for causing them to be abused. And usually those are the ones that are very difficult to handle or to treat. Then some other ones do not know that they are abusive. When you bring it to their attention, then they realize it. They get to themselves, and then they feel remorse for it. And those ones are easily manageable. So when you bring them to therapy and you take them through intervention, they are ready to go through it and to complete treatment and be cured.
I see. Then I think that the issue here is why don't they know they are abusive? Why is it that you are abusive? Why don't you know? You must know. I mean, by virtue of the fact that what you are doing is wrong, you should know it's wrong.
Yeah, it is just like it is said that sometimes when somebody puts their foot on you, if you do not tell them that you are hurting me, they probably are not aware. So when you draw their attention, then they realize that they are causing harm.
Are we saying the abuse could be fun for some of those people?
Well, it could be. There are some people who just take interest in
hurting other people.
That's
and insane.
They feel good about it.
No,
Well,
Doc.
It's not for us to say they are insane until we send them to
the act is insane. I didn't say they are insane. So Doc.
Yep.
With all this, are we able to point a finger or put a hand at specific traits of an abusive man?
Oh yes. I started when we were talking about what an abusive man is. So some of the things I mentioned there can apply. But then we can also identify certain specific traits that abusive people have.
Yeah, that is what I want to know.
Good. One of them is they try to control.
Okay.
They would make you feel very useless. They would like to command. When they say, stand here, you must stand there. Another trait is that they try to blame others for their shortcomings, for their mistakes. They put the blame on others, particularly on their partners. Another trait is that they treat other people with disrespect. Yes. They treat other people with disrespect. And then another trait could be that they are overly jealous.
Okay.
Yes. Overly jealous. So if you are their partner and you move out, you are not coming back. They begin to give you calls. Are you coming? What are you
Where are
doing?
you?
Where are you?
Why can't you speak?
When you come back, they have to sit you down
Where were
and
you?
then take you to the questioning room and ask you a lot of questions. They are like that.
I see.
So those are some of the traits of abusive men.
I guess these traits are obvious then. I mean, you can easily see,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah, but whilst I say that, let me quickly warn that we are all human beings. The fact that once or twice somebody shows any of these traits does not necessarily mean the person is abusive.
Okay.
Yes. These traits that I mentioned would have to be observed over and over again. The person is excessively controlling. The person is excessively jealous. The person is excessively blaming others for their own faults and mistakes. Then you can conclude. As I said, we are human beings. Once a while, somebody would like to control. Once a while, somebody will feel jealous, depending on the situation. But then, when it becomes excessive,
Yeah.
then we can put a hand to it and say, this one is abuse.
But all these also trigger anger. So
Definitely.
would we not say that people who easily get angry can also be, you know, that can be part of the traits?
Good. I'm happy you mentioned anger. And let us understand that anger is an emotion. Yes. And almost everybody
Can get angry.
can get angry. Thank you.
So I think
So-
the reaction is what matters.
Great. Yes, the reaction and the intensity
Okay.
of it.
Okay.
And then the frequency as well.
Okay.
Good. Abusive people can be overly angry over and over again. Little things anger them. And they are difficult to be cooled down. Yes. So, as I said, once a while, the nicest person can get angry.
Can get angry.
Yes, depending on the situation.
And there's the
that
extent-
necessarily may
Okay.
not
May
mean
not.
that the person is abusive.
Well, there's a lot we need to find out in here. I'm going to go on my very second break. I'd urge you all to stay tuned. We'll be back shortly. And when we are back, we'll take some messages from you all. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, we are still in the men's lounge, and we've been discussing abusive men. What causes them to be abusive? What are some of the traits that you should look out for when you are you see or you see somebody and you want to know whether the person could be abusive or not? But remember, the anger and everything else does not necessarily make a man abusive. It is the extent of reaction and the frequency of it that counts to getting closer to abuse or not. So, back to the studio. I'm here with Dr. John Sedofia. He's a member of the Ghana Bibri. John,
No.
we are back. So,
Thank you.
before we left, I
Yeah.
was thinking about this. So, we've seen how, I mean, there's definitely situations of men being very abusive with their partners at home.
Yeah.
But there's a presence of children. And so then it makes me wonder, how does an abusive man affect the children, especially the boy child, like the son? When there's a son, seeing that my father is strong. You know, I feel kids at a certain age, boys at a certain age, may not necessarily understand what is going on. And so they feel they are seeing their father exercising the fact that he's stronger in the house and all that. How does it affect these children?
Thank you. Psychology teaches us that a lot of learning happens by people observing others. We call it observational learning or social learning. And I like to urge listeners to just Google. Just Google something called the Bobo doll experiment. The Bobo doll experiment. This is an experiment carried out by somebody called Albert Bandura. And that led him to propound a theory called the observational learning theory. So he simply says that people imitate others. So when there is an abusive man and there are children, whether they are boys or girls, there is a higher chance that those children will imitate the abuse that is going on. And you mentioned particularly boys. Yes, particularly boys because of their traits, because of their characteristics as boys. They would like to imitate the kind of things they see. And that leads into what I call the rat race. So you find the son of an abusive man also becoming an abusive man. He gives birth and then the son also tries to become an abusive man, all because they have observed these things.
And over time, they begin to feel that is right.
Exactly. That is one of the effects. The other effect is that when children are in abusive homes, they can suffer the spillover effect of the abuse.
Okay.
For example, they can be the subject of a stray object when the abuse is going on, and it is that physical abuse. Maybe somebody has thrown a cutlass, God forbid, or any other object.
Yeah.
It can stray and hit the child. That's also an effect.
Yeah, yeah.
See.
Indeed, when two elephants are fighting, the grass suffers.
Thank you. Then it can also cause children to be very depressed. It can affect their learning at school. It can affect their development. So when we are talking about abuse, it's a very serious thing that we should not play with, particularly when children are around. That doesn't mean that when there are no children, we can abuse.
Maybe you are saying we shouldn't do it in front of the children.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that abuse is bad.
It's bad, yeah.
Abuse
I mean,
in itself is very
wrong,
bad.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then, especially when children are around, it makes it even more serious. Yeah.
So Doc, do abusive men change?
Definitely, abusive men can change.
Hey.
Yes, they can change under the right diagnosis, the right therapy conditions, the right treatment, and most importantly, with the right cooperation from them.
So in the end, they really change.
They can change.
You know, I've been hearing this. Look, a decorated donkey is still an ass. You know, there could still be some iota of, you know, a speck of it in the system. Or you are sure they really change?
They really can change, as I mentioned, if they get into the hands of a professional.
What are some of those transformational journeys that they will go through to possibly say that they have really changed?
Yes. So they would first have to see a professional. The professional will have to do the diagnosis and then prescribe the right treatment.
Okay.
And it is when they go through treatment successfully that they can change. And mind you, I mentioned that with the right cooperation coming from the abusive man, if they fail to cooperate, then no magic can be done to treat them.
Wow.
Yes.
I see. And so it just starts by seeing a professional.
Seeing a professional. And a professional here, I mean a professional therapist, a psychologist for that matter, and they can diagnose the issue and then prescribe the right treatment.
But of course, what's more important is the person's cooperation
The
also.
person's cooperation, because it will require a lot of work. A lot of work on the part of the abuser and then on the part of other loved ones around him or her. So they would have to help in helping the man to get treatment or to complete treatment.
Well, so to those who are watching, keep your messages coming. It's 020 020222054 020222054, and that's on WhatsApp. Let's hear you, and then we'll read your messages. And so this is coming from Emmanuel. Emmanuel says, good evening, your host is referring to narcissists. Well, I hope I'm pronouncing it well. Narcissists. They are difficult to live with. They all have one or two, if these traits, but 4 or more of these traits is danger. They feel in control when they bring others down. They don't respect your boundaries, and trying to please them won't bring any benefits. I dated a covert narcissist and actually married an overt type. We are divorced now. And this is coming from Emmanuel. So Emmanuel, we've got your message. That's and talking about narcissists. And this is also coming from, well, please add your name next time, but I'll do your message. Hey, you have opened my eyes this evening. What should I do? My wife is giving up on me. I assume this person is is an abusive partner. Stop it. Just stop it. Isn't it? Well, you better see a professional.
See a professional psychologist.
Try and go through. But you have to also cooperate. It's good. Identifying it and even sending us this shows that you are ready to do something. Good. So be ready to cooperate.
And these are the ones we are happy with. Exactly. They are the ones that will.
So John says this. You are his kind. You know, you are his kind that he like to work with. So, Doc, as we learn, obviously there are certain things that we need to look out for, and so men being abusive, it comes back to the women, and then I'm sure they are asking by now, so what signs should the ladies look out for? These things may be there, but you know, at the time a man is trying to woo a woman, you may not necessarily, you know, see these things. What should the ladies look out for in those times, or what should the ladies do? Should they provoke them once in a while to, you know, to check to see what could happen? Before you go to that, I'm going to go on a break so I can open the phone lines. Okay. So I'm going to go on this break. Please stay tuned. When we are back, the phone lines will be open so you can also join this conversation live. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you're joining us, we are still in the men's lounge. It's obvious time is really hitting us hard on the back, but we're going to go through this before we leave the lounge today. Doc, so I was asking, what should the ladies look out for?
Thank you. One of the very important things they should look out for is to check family history.
Okay.
Yeah. And that is why it is good that before you get into a permanent relationship with somebody, you find out about their family background, because research also shows that anybody who is an abusive man could have gotten some family history of it. I mentioned it earlier that children of abusive men also grew up to become abusive.
John, let me hold you on here. So the phone line is obviously on the screens now. You can see it's 0555-657278 0555-657278. John is here to answer all your questions. Let's go on, John.
Yeah, thank you. So I was talking about the fact that the ladies going into marriage should check family background. Find out about abuse. And if you find it, know that the tendency is there for you. So you decide whether to go ahead or not to go ahead.
Okay.
Then another one is that they should look out for temper tantrums. Potential abusive men through temper tantrum are the least thing, that the thing you don't expect to anger them are the things that anger them. And you find it difficult to cool them down. So ladies, watch out for that. Watch out also for the men that are overly possessive of you. They don't want you to go near your family. They don't want you to go near your friends. They make you believe that your family and friends are bad. You are the only one that should get close to them. Those men, you should watch out for them.
Well, there's one more that I want to ask you, but before I go there, let me take this message from Wisdom Mauto Boima. So Wisdom says, good evening, I congratulate Doctor for the detailed explanation on abusive men. I wish the program can be well advertised to draw a lot of men to participate. Well, Wisdom, just keep following, refer us a lot, and be part of the program. I'm sure we'll get there pretty soon.
Thank you.
And this is also coming from, okay, so, doctor, some people want your number. And I don't know whether you want to put it out there or you let us have it and we send it directly to them so that you can be helpful.
I think I'll let you have it so that you...
All right, so make sure you send us messages asking us for the number, and then we'll make sure you have doctor's number. But I've been wondering, I'm sure it may not even be me alone. When people hear abuse, is it only the physical or there is some other forms? I mean, I don't know. Are there some other, what kinds of abuse do we have? Are there other forms, or is just the physical one that we all know?
I'm very happy that you have asked this question. If you hadn't asked it, I would have set my own question and answered. Because it's quite an important one. When people hear about abuse, we are inclined to quickly think that we are talking about physical abuse. But abuse goes far beyond physical abuse. It can manifest itself in so many ways. One of them is sexual abuse. Yes, people can be abused sexually. And then an example of it is rape.
Okay.
Yes.
So rape is part of,
it's
an
sexual
abuse. It's a sexual abuse.
Yes. It may not even be rape, but once it is forced sex, it is an abuse.
Okay.
Then a manifestation of sexual abuse is withdrawal of sex. Using sex as a weapon. Yes.
You do it as an abuse, you don't do it as an abuse.
Yes.
What kind of word is
it a thing?
we?
Yes, so some men use sex as a weapon, just as some women do. They withdraw it and use it to torment their men. Abuse can equally be cultural. Yes, cultural abuse. So the abuser makes you believe that your culture is inferior. So you should not have anything to do with your culture. We know that culture manifests itself in the food we eat, the clothes we wear, and the language we speak. Language in particular.
Yeah.
People who want to abuse you culturally make you believe that your language is inferior, so you should not speak your language.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. Well, so there was a text that came from a caller that says,
yes.
Hey, you have opened my eyes this evening. What should I do? My wife is giving up on me, and I asked for your name. Well, your reason for not adding your name, I think I understand. I'm not going to read it. He says, I won't read it, okay? I'm just telling doctor. Okay. Doctor, he says he can't add his name because his wife is around. So I think we'll just send your number to him so he calls you directly. And
so that those people who like to
they can call you directly and get
yes.
That would be good. Now, there's a final question I want to ask you, okay? And that has to do with, so for those wives in such abusive relationships, what should they do? Should they leave or not? Tell me and let's go.
Nah, that's a tough one.
It's not tough, it's very simple. Should they leave or what should they do?
Should they leave? It is neither yes nor no. It is not yes nor a no answer. Let us start it this way. There is a possibility that the issue can be resolved. And I mentioned earlier that under the right diagnosis, under the right treatment, intervention, there can be change. So they should seek help with a professional psychologist.
And then after a while?
Then if all that is done and this problem still persists and life is in danger, either your life or the person abusing's life or any other person, like the children in the house, then
please leave. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so thank you very much for being part of this evening's program, John. I would love to have you again because there's a lot more beyond just the abuse. And then to you also, thank you very much for being part of this evening. Kasapreko Alomo Beaters, we are grateful for you being part of this show. Yam Vita also for being part of this show. A very good evening to William Arthur of Union. He's the Union president, and coming Sunday is his birthday. Happy birthday in advance. And also to all my friends at Zenith Bank, Kwame Adade, Gloria, and all. Thank you very much for this past weekend. We'll be back with another exciting episode next week. Please be safe.